Welcome to First Stroke to the PGA, the unqualified, overly optimistic, and mildly delusional quest to go from my first golf swing ever to the Pro Tour. I'm recording every chunk, shank, lost ball, and occasional miracle shot along the way. If you like big dreams, bad decisions, and watching someone learn the hard way, grab a cart and ride along. Let's tee it up. Because how hard could this possibly be? Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Today we're going to be going through my first couple times at the driving range and getting an idea of my swing and things that I like, things I don't like, and just kind of going through that learning process and getting used to swinging a golf club over a baseball bat, or getting used to really doing anything golf related with the intention of getting better. There's going to be some mixture of range audio as well as after the fact, where I'm recording here in my office. So I think I like that method of having mixture of real feelings after the fact versus having everything be written out and kind of put through the ringer, so to speak. So in this first clip, it's going to be about 11 minutes long. It's going to be my first actual time at the range and going through the process of learning my swing, learning from Ozzy, who has gone with me several times, and kind of giving me those tidbits of information. I am in my car driving back, so there will be some background audio. If that's something you guys enjoy, or if that's something you'd rather just have it in this form right here where everything's a little bit more quiet, a little bit more calm, let me know. I'm open to having things play out in a way that's going to be best suited for the growth of this podcast. So if you'd prefer having everything just put together in more of a quote unquote professional setting where it's afterthought, things are written out, let me know. If you like having the kind of the raw audio where I'm fresh off of whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm open to do that as well. I think it adds an aspect to this that makes it a little bit more genuine, because I'm talking through my feelings and everything in real time. So, or at least within a day or two, whereas this, looking back, is a couple weeks from now. So again, this first one's going to be my first ever time at the range, and I'm going through the process of what it looks like, right? So without further ado, here is my first audio, raw audio from the range. So this audio log is going to be about my first time going to the driving range with the expectation of getting better at golf. As I said in the previous one, this was not my first time to a driving range in my life, but most of the time it was previously accompanied with me doing batting practice or something related to baseball. And we had, 10, 15, 20, whatever it was, amount of time to spill. And, we'd go and kill some time by trying to figure out what the hell we were doing with a driver on the driving range. Never really any thought behind it or thought after it of what happened and how things went. But today was my first real time with that in mind, which was completely new to me. And I gotta say, man, this was going to be one of those things where I was either going to solidify my love for whatever this was, or it was going to be, the very real understanding that I probably don't like this as much as I think I do. And we're going to, move on from it, right? Like, one and done. I spent, $100 on some golf clubs, didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would, and it's going to sit in my garage for the rest of the time. So, and it was definitely the first one. I solidified what I thought I
was thinking about the game of golf, and being able to go out there and say that I enjoyed hitting and playing as much as I enjoy watching it is a huge thing for me, because I really didn't know what I was going to get. Like, in my mind, it looked fun to play from watching, the Masters or one of the Live Golf tournaments. It looked fun, but I didn't know if going out there and actually swinging a club with the intent of bettering myself was going to be as fun as it was going to be in my head. And I'm happy to say that was the case. Like, I loved it. I went with one of my coworkers and buddies. His name's Ozzy, and he's been playing golf for years and years, and he's significantly better than I will probably ever be. But he was able to kind of sit there and watch what I was doing and gave me some guidance in my swing and things that I'm doing, and I think that's really invaluable for my first time out, because I'm already learning some good things. I corrected a few things in my swing that I don't think I would have if I were just out there doing it on my own. I was going to record some video. I didn't really have a spot. I don't have a tripod, so I didn't really have a spot to go out and set up to where I could probably safely keep my phone while I recorded it. But so I'm going to look into getting a tripod, because I do think there's a benefit in having video to show my progression. And I gotta say, like, I had a couple balls where I topped it, or it ran across there was a line drive across the ground, and but I had a couple of them. I think the best hit I had was with a 7-iron. Don't know if that's common or if that's just like luck of the draw, but my 7-iron, I freaking smacked one. Had a really good sound. Lost track of the damn thing, but it sounded good. And the point of yesterday at the driving range was really to just kind of solidify if I liked it and have a few balls that I hit some contact or had solid contact on it. And I feel like I accomplished my goal. Immediately after walking off the course and getting, in the car and heading back to the office, it kind of sucked in. There were the withdrawals, which I was about an hour back into my work at the office, and I wanted to go back. I said, I don't know. I think there's an addiction laying in here. So, not really, but I had the itch. I I really wanted to go do it, and the small bucket of balls that I got for $3 or whatever it was at the golf at the golf club, golf resort, golf course. That's the right word, golf course. I think I should have gotten a bigger bucket of balls, which, it is what it is. We have an hour for lunch, and it took us probably 15 minutes to get there. So the idea behind it was to try to maximize the time, and I also wanted to go and putt a couple balls and try out this new putter that I got off of Amazon. My buddy Ozzy, he putted the ball as well with my putter, and he said, "Damn, this thing's actually got some weight behind it." And I just really enjoyed my time there, and it's not that it's shocking, but it wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't. I thought it was going to be something that, hey, I enjoyed it, that's awesome, fun, sometimes whatever. But I thoroughly enjoyed myself to an extent that I didn't think I was going to, which is awesome. It's really cool that I was able to go out there and kind of enjoy it the way that I did. Ozzy did tell me, he's like, there's going to be times you're going to feel all sorts of emotions, especially when I get out on the course. He said there's going to be times you're going to love the game, there's going to be times you're going to hate the game and you're going to want to quit. And I already kind of feel it because I felt so defeated when I didn't hit the ball the way I thought I was going to, and when I got some type of solid connection, or it sounded really good. It was just I was like, oh my god, I want to do it again, and it was awesome. I mean, I can't put into words like how gratifying it felt when you got that solid connection for the first time with a different club. I mean, I ran through a bunch of my clubs. I didn't do my driver. I forgot the tees on my desk in my garage, so bummer. But I did forgive me, I don't remember I did my pitching wedge. I think a 5 and a 7 iron. I did I think it was the 3-wood, and that was really it. I was gonna do the driver, but I didn't have any tees and didn't want to try to gauge my abilities based off of the driver's really meant to be hit off of a tee. So, talking to my buddy Ozzy and another coworker of mine, Xavier, we're gonna go back on Thursday, and we got a blizzard bet. So Xavier has said that if I can hit the ball and have it carry for 200 yards, I get a blizzard. So pretty high stakes here. So I think I was getting close to the 150 with my 7. I think I need to get better at tracking the ball, and I think that will come in time, because I would just hit the ball, and I if I didn't see it off the tee, like off the swing, then it was gone. So that's something I'm gonna have to work on, because I had no idea. It was just gone. My vision's not that great, so when I get out on the course, I might have to get something like neon orange balls or something like that, just to help me better pick it out against everything. Because the balls that they had for the range, they were neon yellow, and it was one of those things. If I didn't see it, if I didn't see it off the hit, then I didn't see it. So if I saw it off of the initial hit, then I was fine. But if I didn't see it then it was just gone. So that's something I think I'll have to work on, but that's okay. But overall, the first time at the range was a massive success. I'm very excited to go back. And I'm even more excited to get out on the golf course. I've told Ozzy and Xavier and my buddies at work that, a reservation that I have is I played baseball from the time I was 7 years old until I was 17, so 10, 11 years, if you count like t-ball and stuff like that, probably longer. So growing up, I was always athletic enough to really pick up anything and be decent. And I'm being told that's not going to be the case with this, and I struggle with that. Not to say I'm near as athletic as I was, 10 years ago, in my mid 20s, early 20s. So that'll be a challenge, I think, whenever I first get out on the course. And I know I've got some things I need to correct, so I will probably hit up the driving range a few more times before I take the brave step out onto a course. But that's the plan. I mean, I plan on doing these type of audio logs after we have a run at the driving range, or if I practice something at home, or whatever it is, just to keep chronicling what I'm doing to learn the game of golf.
So that was my first time at the range, and it went better than I expected in some ways, and not as good in other ways. I was proud of the fact that I was able to get some solid contact on the ball, and I was really happy with the fact that I was able to more consistently hit the ball than I thought I was going to. Full transparency, I really thought that I was just gonna airball a bunch of them and just full swings and complete misses. So um, that was a really big positive for me coming off of that and seeing where I'm at now versus where I was at when I first did that that recording. It's huge. I mean, I've already noticed a ton of different things that are better in my swing as we approach. You know, we're coming into the end of June here, so um, I'm really excited to see what we have here, and then kind of see how we progress from that as well. So I'm also going to play another audio here. It's going to be the second time at the driving range. Um, that one is a little bit longer, so that'll probably be the last one that we keep in here. But I want to try to get a couple of these in together at the same time, just so that way it's not a 15 or 20-minute podcast. I'd like it to be closer to an hour if I can keep it that way. And if that means I need to do it, especially while I'm catching up, then I can go through and say, hey, I'm going to put my first 2 times at the driving range here, and then the second two, and then we'll be pretty well caught up because I've got, we'll be going this week, I think Tuesday or Wednesday. So that's going to be the second one. Again, this one is my second time going there and kind of figuring some things out and working through that process. So here is my second time at the golf range.
All right, so this is my third audio log, and apologies, I've listened back to a couple of these now where I do them in my car because I've got a 35-minute drive into my job, so it's easy for me to commit to do it that way. So apologies if you guys hear car noises, blinkers, honking of the horn, stuff like that. Now that I know that it's very apparent, I will try to make sure that I'm being more cognizant of that before I do stuff. So the eventual plan is to get a setup where I can do it from like in my office or something along those lines, so it's a little bit more secluded and quiet, as well as getting some equipment for the audio pieces of this. So today is Friday, May 2nd, and I went to the driving range for the second time with my coworker and buddy Ozzie Green 2 days ago. So we went on Wednesday, April 30th, and I went into it with a ton of confidence, thinking that I was going to go out there, I was going to be better magically because I had already gone one time. I got my first slice of humble pie with golf, and I got my first slice of kind of the frustration I think I'm going to get moving forward with golf. I mean, I still had a blast. I still had a lot of fun just going out there and hitting golf balls, man. I mean, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like something that I haven't, sports-wise, like athleticism-wise, that I haven't felt since I played baseball. And it's really cool to have that feeling again, and kind of be in that mindset of going out there and doing something to better myself in a sport. It's unique. That being said, I went in there, like I said, with all the confidence that I was going to go out there and just knock the crap out of some balls, and I didn't. I'm trying to think of how to word it. Out of the bucket of balls that I hit, compared to my first time, I had more connections that were solid my first time out. My second time out, I had less solid connections, but the ones I got a good... Oh, shoot. Sorry, I've got you guys up on my dash, and didn't think that about taking a turn might send you guys careening off of my dash. What was I saying? I had less good connections this time around, but the connections that I did make we're better, if that makes any sense. So it's a bit of a wash, in my opinion, a bit of a mixed bag, I guess. I had less of the good connections in hand, but I did have the ones that I did connect with. I felt like were better struck. So I'm happy with it overall, but I'm not gonna lie, I did leave disappointed because I came in there with an expectation of that I was gonna do better than I did the previous time we went, and I didn't do that. So I've been talking with my buddy Ozzy, and I think we're gonna try to go hit, do a round of 18 here, or at least 9, and we're gonna try to do it here in the next week or so. So I'm real excited. I'll probably do, I don't know if I'm gonna do some videos or if I'm gonna do how I'm gonna handle it. I think for the starting off of everything, I think I'm gonna try to do the podcast and kind of meld together some of these audio logs that I'm doing and just kind of bunch them up into episodes. Like, hey, here's a week's worth of audio or something like that. They can even be short form podcasts. I'm not necessarily trying to do hour-long episodes. I mean, on most of these I'm doing where after I'm at the driving range, they're like 10 or 15 minutes at most. So I might compile those together, like driving range sessions for April or whatever it is. So this whole thing is still kind of new to me, and on this side, I'm starting 2 new ventures with this. Golf being the new venture that I'm trying to learn how to play, and then on the same side, I'm trying to document it and do that piece of it. So if this ever gets up on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or wherever it goes, I'm open to suggestion. I'm open to collaboration. So let me know, because I want to make sure this is a worthwhile experience for the listeners, but also for myself, because I want to be able to look back at this in 4 or 5 years, whatever, I'm hopefully better, and be able to look back on it and be like, oh, dang, okay, I remember what that was like my first, second, third time out on the driving range, my first time out on the golf course, and be able to look back on these memories fondly, hopefully. Or the whole thing comes down in a burning fire, and I hate golf, and I delete all these audio files, and they never see the light of day. I don't know what's gonna happen yet, but I'm trying to do this in a way that I can document kind of what I'm going through after the range, after a session, after a round of golf, whatever. And I think, at least initially, I think starting off doing a podcast of sorts would probably be the better route, but I'm open to suggestion, I'm open to collaboration. So the title of the podcast or YouTube, however we're going to do this, the channel is what I'll call it, until I figure out more of what I want to do. The goal and the title of the channel is going to be, again, from the first stroke to the PGA. I told my buddy Ozzy that, and he kind of gave me a look. He's like, you think you're going to get to the PGA? I said, no. But I'm a goal-oriented person, and I'm going to say this the first couple of times on these shows, so that way I'm getting the idea across that I understand that getting to the PGA is a lofty and probably unreachable goal at this stage of my life. I'm 32 years old, but I'm a very goal-oriented person, and I feel like if I set up something without an end goal in mind, that it's going to be hard for me to continually push it. I can't go out and do something for fun. I can't go out and just play golf and be okay being where I'm probably at right now, which is mediocre, because I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm not the type of person that can go out there and be mediocre at golf, baseball, whatever I'm doing, and be okay with it. So I have to have some type of a goal, as far-fetched as it may be, as out of this world as the possibility may be. I have to have that kind of a stretch goal to continue to motivate myself to go through and be better. Because if I don't do that, I'll lose interest and it won't last. So I'm setting a lofty and probably unreachable goal of getting to the PGA or LIV or the professional piece of this sport. And yes, I understand the likelihood of that happening is very, very slim. So want to get that out there early on. But I also, going back to my time at the driving range, I am kind of mimicking what my buddy does. He goes through a progression of, he starts at a sand wedge, goes to pitching, works his way through his irons, and then the last couple of balls he's hitting the driver. I forgot my tees the first time out, wasn't able to use my driver because I didn't want to hit him off the mat. Brought my tees this time, so I worked through a similar progression. I've got most of my irons, honestly, most of the golf club set I bought from him. So the two pieces I didn't, one was a driver from Goodwill. It's $5. I'm proud of it. It's a Callaway something. I don't know. Maybe in a future recording I will go through everything that's on my golf bag and list out what's on the head. And you guys can tell me how good or bad each club is. So so I brought my tees and I hit the driver for the first time, and it didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I topped every single one of them, and if I hit it, it was a line drive. So there were more than one. I think I hit 4 or 5 of them, and I'd say 3 of them I hit the top of it, and they went probably 10 or 20 feet, and then like a small line drive, and then bounced. I've got to get my baseball swing figured out and get that process out of my system as best I can. So that's something that I'm gonna have to work through. So I think I got one connection that was okay, and it was a line drive. I think it only went about 100 yards. So if that, I said, all right, I don't like my driver anymore, and I put it back, and I went back to the 7-iron because I wanted to end my driving range time with a little bit of confidence, and I topped the last 2 shots that I made. So I was like, this whole thing went bad. I'm never playing golf ever again. But I didn't leave with the confidence high that I had after the first one. So I like that I'm going through a progression of hitting certain balls. I think my strongest club as of right now is probably my 7-iron. And I really thought going into it that I would just knock the crap out of the ball with my driver, and I didn't. So I'm gonna go back. Probably I want to go back today. I don't know that I'll be able to, but I want to. So we'll see. I'll ping Ozzy and see if he wants to go back today, because I've got the itch, man. This is validation that I know that this is something different than probably just a passing phase, like a once in a while thing that I'm gonna think about every once in a while. I'm splitting my love with sports-wise. I'm splitting my love with motocross for golf, which is something that's never happened, and I've tried to find other sports that interest me enough to watch, and nothing has ever trumped Supercross in that aspect. Golf has, and it's a little different. I feel like I'm cheating on motocross, so it's a little different, but I'll be okay. It'll be fine. I'll be okay. The cool thing about it is it's still new, so there's stuff that I don't know, but I've dove completely into it, and I'm watching highlights from LIV, I'm watching highlights from the PGA, I'm trying to find highlights for the TGL, but those aren't quite as easy to come by from what I've seen. So I may try to find some actual rounds. But I'm too I don't know what it's called. I've gone to the range twice, and addiction's probably not the right word. I mean, maybe it is. I've gone twice. I wanted to go every day. But with my work and everything like that, it's hard to break away for that length of time every day to go and do it. So I think I want to go today, but if not, we'll definitely be going next week. Ozzy and I have a standing agreement that we're going to go at least once a week. I've gotten a couple guys from the office that are open to going, so I'm a little apprehensive to go by myself, only because I want that guidance, and I feel like I'm going to do better with somebody there to tell me what's going right or wrong with my swing or my connections or whatever it is. And I think that's going to help me be better short term and long term, because the second time at the range, my buddy Ozzy, he was like, hey, he's like, this is what you're doing, fix it. And I think I did, or at least I'm I'm making steps to try and do it. But you know, whenever I'm swinging, he said I'm dipping my hips to try to lift the ball off the ground, and you don't need to do that. So I'm getting, I think, good feedback. I think my swing is decent, and I'm trying to maintain a decent swing throughout and be consistent enough so that way if I'm doing something incorrect, then it's something I'm doing every time, not just a one-off swing. So my next step for things to get golf related, I think I said this in the last audio log, I want to get some neon orange golf balls, because the first time out, I was struggling to track the ball wherever it went. The second time out, I did a little bit better for probably about 150 yards. Not watching my stuff, but watching Ozzy's, I could track it for the first probably about 100 to 150 yards, and then it was gone. But I figure that's probably okay, because if I can track where it was going, it's going to be easier to find it. So, but I wouldn't see where the ball landed, and I think it was also cloudy versus a sunny day. The first time it was sunny out, the second day it was overcast. So I think that's probably part of it. It's easier to track the ball when it's cloudy. I don't really know, but it was easier for me to track it, and it's overcast again today, so that leans more for me to go today and try to do it that way. So that was my second time at the range. We did we also did some time on the putting green, and I'm not very good. I was trying some stuff out there. I should probably work on things inside of 10 feet before I start venturing out and trying to do, 30 feet out or 25 feet or however far out I was. The thing that I've noticed from doing the putting green the last couple times is that I'm accurate, and I can usually get it, like if I were hitting it with the right amount of power, I would be either going in or very, very close. I'm hitting it too hard. So I have to find that finesse and the right amount of power to use it however far I'm out. So that's one thing that I noticed is I was very, very accurate. So if I was, regardless of how far out I was, like even my furthest putt out was, I think 30 something, 35 feet maybe. And it went within 4 or 5 inches of the hole, but it went way off into the outside of the green. So that's one thing that I will have to kind of play with. And if I go today, I'll probably spend a little bit more time on the putting green versus I still need to work on my big swings, but I think what I'm doing now is a good compromise in time, because I'm able to spend a majority of my time hitting through the rest of my clubs, but then I'm also spending 10-15 minutes when we're there to do some putting. And I think that's going to be a good split of time. I've got a little cheap putting green thing from Walmart, and at least on that, I'm consistently a decent putter. So it's got different lines. I don't know what their variations are. I want to say it's like 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, up to 7 feet. And I went home and I practiced for another 20 or 30 minutes, and by the end of it, I could go start at 1 foot, go to 7 feet, and then back down to 1 foot, and I could get it in the hole within 2 putts every single time. So that was good to see. But I've still, being on the putting green, I have to be able to identify where things are lying and stuff like that. So I've still got room to improve on it. So that's something I'm going to continue to work on and try to get the power and how hard to hit the ball as we move forward with it. So that was my second time at the range,
and that was my second time at the driving range. And like I said in that audio log, I got a bit of a slice of humble pie with it. I'm still having a blast with it, and I I really got the understanding of the ups and downs that can happen with this, and it's kind of funny. So I I know I had some better connections, I think, than I did on the first time out, but I'm trying to think of how to word it. Like, I didn't have as many of the solid connections as I did the first time, but the ones that I was able to get a hold of were really clean shots, which I was really proud of. So um, it's kind of funny how it works. And my buddy Ozzy at the time had told me, he's like, you're gonna feel the ups and downs of these as you as you start to work through them. And boy, was he right. So the first time out, I'm going to attribute it to kind of dumb luck in that sense, because I think in my head I was going to do better than I did, and I didn't. So I'm real excited to see how these work out, and kind of where I go from this point on. So that's going to be the last range audio I share for this episode, and we're going to save the next two for next week's episode. So be sure to tune into the next episode, and thanks everybody for listening in. That's a wrap on First Stroke to the PGA. If you're into wild misses, humble goals, and bad club choices, give us a follow and share the show. If you have any advice, swing tips, or you just want to roast my form, I'm all ears. Hit me up. Until next time, aim high, score low, and if no one saw it, it didn't happen.